Elliot Hartman, a ruthless biotech billionaire, faces a life-shattering heart attack that forces him to confront his own vulnerability. Enter Maya Rivera, a compassionate nurse from Brooklyn, whose kindness and strength challenge everything Elliot thought he knew about life, love, and what truly matters. Their worlds collide in a powerful journey of healing, trust, and unexpected romance that defies society's expectations. Where are you watching from? Share with us in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more gripping stories that touch the heart and inspire the soul. The rain came down in relentless sheets, blurring the city skyline outside Elliot Hartman's office window. Inside the towering glass building, the air was still and tense. Elliot, founder and CEO of Hartman Biotech, was wrapping up a deal that would add another billion to his already staggering empire. His assistant hovered at the edge of the room, nervous but silent. She knew better than to interrupt him when he was in the zone. Elliot's fingers flew across the tablet screen, issuing final commands, sealing contracts, moving millions with a few taps. Then, without warning, his hand froze midair. His breath hitched. The pain started behind his ribs, a crushing weight like a fist closing around his chest. He staggered backward, knocking over a sleek designer chair. His assistant turned just in time to see Elliot collapse to his knees, eyes wide in disbelief, fingers clawing at his shirt. "Pull! Ambulance!" he managed to gasp before the world around him dissolved into black. When he opened his eyes, the ceiling was unfamiliar. White, sterile, humming with fluorescent lights. The smell of antiseptic hit him first, followed by a distant beeping sound that seemed to echo through his skull. He tried to sit up, only to feel a firm but gentle hand on his shoulder. "Easy, Mr. Hartman," a voice said. "You're safe now." It took a few blinks before the face came into focus. A woman in blue scrubs stood over him, her eyes calm, her expression composed. Her hair was pulled into a tight bun, and a hospital badge read, "Maya Rivera, RN." Her voice held a kind of practiced care, not sweet, not cold, just present. "You're in the cardiac unit," she explained. "You had a heart attack. The paramedics got to you in time." Elliot tried to speak but only managed a rasp. Maya handed him a cup of water, helping him sip. "You'll be okay, but you need rest. Your cardiologist will be in soon." He'd faced hostile takeovers, Senate hearings, and biotech crises, but never had he felt so powerless. Lying in that bed, tethered to machines, he realized he didn't know the last time someone had looked at him without expectation or calculation. Maya didn't seem impressed or intimidated. She adjusted his IV and scribbled something on a chart, utterly unfazed by the billionaire in her care. Hours passed. Elliot couldn't sleep. Every time he drifted, he saw the rain, felt the pain, remembered the way the marble floor of his office felt against his cheek. When Maya returned for her night shift, he found himself watching her. She moved with purpose, treating each patient with the same steady efficiency. When she turned to him, their eyes met. "Do you need anything?" she asked. He wanted to say something clever, something charming, but all he said was, "Thank you." She nodded. "Just doing my job, Mr. Hartman." "Elliot," he corrected, surprising himself. A flicker of something passed through her expression, surprise maybe, or amusement. "Elliot," she repeated, testing the name like it was a riddle. "Well, Elliot, let's make a deal. You follow your care plan, and I'll make sure you're well enough to go back to bossing people around soon." He smiled, the first real one in days. "Deal." As she walked away to tend another patient, Elliot's gaze lingered. He didn't know much about her, but there was something grounding about the way she didn't flinch at his status, the way she treated him like a man, not a mogul. That night, as the rain continued to fall outside the hospital walls, Elliot Hartman closed his eyes, and for the first time in a long time, felt a strange, unexplainable calm. 2 days after his cardiac event, Elliot Hartman was still adjusting to the strange new rhythm of his life, one where he wasn't in control of anything, not even his own body. His hospital room, though private and sleek, was still a cage. Every beep of the monitor, every check-in from a nurse or doctor, reminded him of just how fragile he had become. And yet, amid all of that, there was something or someone that made the entire experience feel oddly bearable. Maya Rivera. He didn't know what it was about her. Maybe it was the way she moved with quiet confidence, or how she spoke to him like she didn't care who he was. Not in a dismissive way, but in a way that made him feel like a person, rather than a figure on a Forbes list. Every time she entered the room, the noise in his mind softened. "You're eating now?" she asked one morning, eyebrows raised as she noticed him poking half-heartedly at his bland hospital breakfast. "I wouldn't call this eating," Elliot muttered. "I've had more flavor in my toothpaste." Maya didn't laugh, but the corner of her mouth tugged upward. "That's because it's designed to keep your heart from exploding." He arched an eyebrow. "Charming. You'll thank me later." "I doubt that." But he finished the meal anyway, mostly because she was watching him. Mostly because he didn't want to disappoint her. Later that afternoon, his cardiologist, Dr. Lin, stopped by with a stern warning. Elliot's condition was more serious than initially thought. A second event could be fatal. If he didn't change his lifestyle immediately, he might not have a future at all. "You need rest, stress management, consistent medication, no late nights, no boardroom battles. If you don't listen, Elliot, I won't sugarcoat it. Your money won't keep you alive." Elliot's instinct was to fight, argue, find a loophole. But he just sat there, stunned. After the doctor left, Maya returned with a clipboard and blood pressure cuff. She said nothing about the doctor's visit, but Elliot could feel her eyes on him, studying him with that quiet nurse's intuition. "You heard him," he finally said. "No more power plays. No more conquering the biotech world. No more skipping sleep and forgetting meals," Maya added, tightening the cuff around his arm. "No more thinking you're invincible." He looked at her. "What if I don't know how to stop?" "Then you learn," she said simply. "Like everyone else who's ever been scared and human." The next morning, Elliot made a decision that surprised even himself. He asked to speak with the hospital's administrative team and offered to make a generous donation to the cardiac unit, under one condition: that Nurse Maya Rivera oversee how the funds were used. When Maya heard, she marched into his room, unimpressed. "You can't bribe me into giving you special treatment." Elliot blinked. "That wasn't my intention. You're the only person here I trust." "You don't even know me," she replied, arms crossed. "I know that you tell me the truth, that you're not impressed by my money, that when I wake up in the middle of the night, you check on me without being asked. That you—" He stopped himself. Maya's expression softened slightly, but she didn't budge. "I'm your nurse, Mr. Hartman. This isn't a partnership." "No," Elliot said, voice quieter now, "but I wish it could be." She didn't respond, just adjusted his IV and turned toward the door. But before she left, she paused. "You want to learn how to live differently? Start with listening." And for once, Elliot did. Elliot Hartman hadn't planned to fall into a rhythm with Maya Rivera. Yet 2 weeks after hiring her as his private nurse, his life, once dictated by the volatility of markets and mergers, now moved according to Maya's measured steps. She had rules, and he obeyed them, mostly. She had boundaries, and though he occasionally tested them, he never crossed. Every morning began with her checking his vitals, overseeing his meds, and serving a breakfast menu approved by both his cardiologist and his now slightly less cynical taste buds. Every evening ended with her reviewing his schedule, ensuring he wasn't overexerting himself, then vanishing behind the door of the guest room in his penthouse. But it wasn't just the structure she brought. It was her presence. Maya didn't treat him like the CEO of a billion-dollar company. She treated him like a man recovering, someone fragile but capable, someone who didn't need to be impressive, just honest. That honesty was becoming more dangerous than Elliot liked to admit. One night, he caught himself waiting by the elevator just to say goodnight to her. "Thanks for the torture," he said as she packed up her portable BP monitor. She raised an eyebrow. "Your pressure's dropped 10 points. You should be thanking me." "I am," he said, then added, more softly, "more than you know." Maya paused, then looked away. "Don't make this complicated." "I'm not," Elliot replied, though he wasn't entirely sure that was true. Later that week, Elliot was scheduled to attend a charity gala hosted by the Metropolitan Children's Hospital, a longtime partner of his company. When Maya reviewed his calendar, her brow furrowed. 3 hours max, no alcohol, no speeches unless previously pre-approved, and absolutely no stress. "Yes, Nurse Rivera," he said with mock solemnity. "Don't test me, Hartman." But he did, in the most unexpected way. That evening, as she was reviewing his dinner options, he appeared in the hallway wearing a tailored tuxedo and an unmistakably nervous expression. "I want you to come with me," he said. Maya looked up stunned. To the gala? I need you there. For my health, of course, he added with a grin. You're using your heart condition to manipulate me? Only a little, he said, and for a moment, vulnerability flickered across his face. The truth is, I want someone there who sees me. Not the name, not the title, just me. She hesitated. I don't own anything suitable for something like that. I'll have something sent over, Elliot offered quickly. No, if I go, I'll wear something I bought myself, and I'm not your date, I'm your nurse. Understood, he said. But the hope in his eyes didn't fade. The night of the gala, Maya emerged from her room wearing a navy gown she'd worn once to her sister's graduation party. Simple, elegant. Her curls framed her face naturally. When Elliot saw her, he momentarily forgot how to speak. You look. Don't say beautiful, she warned. I was going to say radiant, he corrected with a soft smile. But beautiful works too. They arrived to a room glittering with chandeliers, diamonds, and expectations. Eyes followed them as they walked in together, murmurs floating on champagne air. Who's she? Someone whispered. His new girlfriend? Another guessed. Maya tried to stay near the edge of the room, invisible, but Elliot kept her close. When the chairwoman of the hospital approached and asked, "And you are?" Elliot responded before Maya could. She's the reason I'm standing here tonight. His doctor? The woman asked. His nurse, Maya replied calmly. The woman blinked, clearly taken aback. But Elliot only smiled, placing a gentle hand at the small of Maya's back. And my most trusted person right now. That night, as they left the gala, Maya turned to him in the car. That was risky, telling people who I am to you. I know, Elliot said quietly, but I meant every word. And in that silence, something shifted. Something neither of them could take back. After the whirlwind of the gala and the swirling rumors that followed, Elliot and Maya found themselves at a crossroads neither expected. The city's relentless pace had begun to weigh heavily on both of them. For Maya, the glare of public scrutiny was suffocating. Whispers of gold digger and billionaire nurse affair chased her through the hospital halls and even into her quiet Brooklyn apartment. Elliot, despite his towering reputation and resources, felt helpless watching her struggle with the shadows cast by his world. One evening, as the city lights flickered through the window of his penthouse, Elliot made a decision. Maya, he said softly, I think you need a break from all of this. She looked up from her worn sketchbook, surprised. They had spent hours that day arguing over what their future could or couldn't be. She had tried to hold on to her independence, to the life she'd built for herself and her niece. But here, in this rare moment of vulnerability, Elliot was offering something unexpected. Space. Let's go somewhere quiet, he suggested. No headlines, no judgments, just us. Maya hesitated. The idea of stepping out of the chaos was tempting, but she worried about what it meant for her. Would she lose herself completely if she stepped into his world? But when Elliot held out his hand, she took it. They arrived at a secluded beach house Elliot had purchased years ago but never used, a place where the ocean met the sky in endless blue, and time seemed to slow down. The house was modest, far from the penthouse grandeur, but it held a warmth neither of them could ignore. Days passed with no urgent emails, no frantic meetings. Elliot traded his tailored suits for faded jeans and loose shirts. Maya traded hospital scrubs for soft cotton dresses, her paintbrushes replacing stethoscopes during quiet afternoons. They cooked meals side by side, laughed over memories, and shared stories they'd never told anyone else. One evening, under a sky strewn with stars, Elliot spoke with a newfound clarity. I've been thinking about everything, how I live, who I want to be. This heart attack, it wasn't just a warning, it was a wake-up call. Maya listened, heart pounding. I want to step back from the company, focus on something meaningful. I want to build a foundation to help people who don't have access to care. People like you, she smiled, reaching for his hand. You don't have to do this alone. In the quiet peace of that house, they dropped the masks they'd worn so long. Elliot wasn't the untouchable CEO. Maya wasn't just a nurse or a caregiver. They were two souls learning to trust, to love beyond the boundaries of wealth and status. Before returning to the city, Maya confessed the truth she'd been holding close. I'm falling in love with you, but I'm scared. Elliot looked at her, eyes full of tenderness. Me too, but we'll take it one day at a time. No rushing, no pressure. Back in the city, they faced the world anew. They attended Maya's niece's school play together, mingled at quiet dinners with family and friends, and found joy in the little things: a shared cup of coffee, a walk through the park, a lazy Sunday morning. Their worlds, once so separate, began to intertwine, not through extravagance, but through shared moments of authenticity. And though challenges awaited them, they faced those with a steady, growing confidence that whatever came next, they would face it together. 6 months had passed since Elliot Hartman's heart attack. And in that time, life had transformed in ways neither he nor Maya Rivera could have predicted. They had found a rhythm together that balanced their vastly different worlds. A rhythm built on trust, understanding, and a love that transcended the sum of their differences. Their home was no longer the cold penthouse Elliot once called his fortress. Instead, it was a warm, inviting house nestled in a quiet suburb, chosen carefully to be close enough to the hospital for Maya's shifts, but far enough from the relentless glare of the city's high society. The walls were decorated with Maya's paintings, landscapes that captured the places they'd been and the hope they carried for the future. Elliot had stepped away from the day-to-day chaos of running a biotech empire and embraced a new role, one that focused on philanthropy and community. His company had launched the Hartman Maya Foundation for Cardiac Care, a nonprofit dedicated to providing free screenings, education, and support to underserved neighborhoods, the very people Maya had spent her career caring for. Maya still worked at the hospital, though now on a part-time basis, balancing her nursing with her growing involvement in the foundation. She continued to care for her niece, who thrived in the stability their new life offered. One crisp spring afternoon, Elliot surprised Maya with a small sapphire ring, its deep blue a nod to the color of her scrubs on that first night he met her. It was modest, understated, but perfect. "I wanted something that wouldn't get in the way when you're working," he said softly. They chose to have a simple wedding in their backyard, surrounded by family, friends, colleagues, and neighbors from both sides of their worlds. There was no division between his and hers. Instead, there was a community united by love and respect. As Maya walked down the aisle on her brother's arm, her eyes locked with Elliot's. In that moment, the years of struggle, doubt, and growth all faded away. They exchanged vows that spoke not only of love but of the journeys that had shaped them, the hardships they had faced, and the future they were building together. "Before I met you," Elliot said, his voice steady and full of emotion, "I had everything money could buy, but nothing that truly mattered. You taught me that real wealth isn't measured in dollars, but in moments of connection, in laughter shared, in hands held through difficult times." Maya's vow echoed his sentiment. "You showed me that people are more than their circumstances, more than their bank accounts or job titles. You showed me that hearts can connect across any divide." Their first dance was beneath a canopy of twinkling lights, the night alive with the sounds of laughter, music, and joy. As they swayed together, Elliot whispered, "You didn't save my life, Maya. You gave it back to me." And for Maya, that was the greatest gift of all. A love that healed not just a broken heart, but two souls who had dared to believe in something more than what the world expected of them. This story reminds us that true connection goes far beyond wealth, status, or circumstance. Elliot and Maya come from completely different worlds, yet what binds them is genuine care, respect, and the courage to be vulnerable with one another. It teaches us that love is not about changing who we are, but about accepting and growing together, creating something new and beautiful that neither could have built alone. Sometimes, the greatest healing comes not from medicine or money, but from human kindness and understanding. Their journey shows us the importance of seeing people for who they really are, not for their titles or bank accounts, and how opening our hearts can lead to transformation, hope, and lasting happiness. It also highlights that life's most valuable treasures aren't material possessions, but the relationships and moments that truly matter. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment below and share your story or thoughts about this tale. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more inspiring, heartfelt content, make sure to subscribe and join our community. Your support means the world and keeps these stories coming. Thank you for being here.